Hello everyone and welcome to the Fusing Shop. First I'd like to give a plug to my Patreon page. If you guys could quickly head over there and become a supporter for $5 a month, that would be awesome. Patreon.com/Fusing Shop. I greatly appreciate it so I continue to make videos like this for you guys. And I'd like to give a shout out to Linda Craig who gave me the idea for this video, asking if I can make a Gandalf pipe. And that is exactly what we will be making today. So let's jump in and get started. Got the light on. What's going on, good people? We're going to light the torch and get going. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm not using many tools for this. I'm just using a bowl push, a blow hose, a reamer, and some 25mm heavy wall blue tubing, and some rods to use as punties. I have the blue tubing already hooked up to a blow tube. Now I'm going to connect my blow hose. And to connect your blow hose, just wrap it around your neck so it's out of the way. Okay, we are all ready. And the reason we're using the blow hose is to keep the tube pressurized and so it doesn't collapse as we pull out the pipe. Gandalf pipes are really cool looking. They're like super long and fun to make. First thing I'm doing is attaching a punty to the end of my blue tubing, and this is going to be a hot seal. The whole pipe is going to be made from this connection, so you need to make sure that this is a nice strong connection. To do a hot seal, get both ends nice and hot, and when they're glowing about the same color of orange, attach them in the flame. Right now I'm letting that glass flow back and forth and waiting for that glass to stiffen up. As the glass, when the glass is malleable and flipping all over the place, you need to just keep a steady hand and it'll start to stiffen up. And as it stiffens up little by little, make sure you do your best to keep everything on center. Just going to go ahead and straighten up that punty. And then we're going to use this flame to preheat the tubing. I should have preheated this in the kiln, but I did not. I'm just gently introducing it into the flame, and we're going to do a section at a time. To make the Gandalf has that nice, smooth, tapered shape. So to make the taper, we need to heat in one area and have it taper off to the other area. So where you need the glass to move more, that's going to be hotter. So in my case, I'm going to have more heat going towards my blow hose side, and a little bit less heat at the punty side. So just going in, starting to get, you can see the tubing starting to glow. And it's great when you use color because you can really see the heat base in there build up. When you use clear, sometimes it's hard to tell how much heat is in the glass, but when you use like colors, especially darker ones, it's very easy to see where your glass is hot and where you need to put more heat and what's cooling off. So it's really even fun to see when you do it in the flame. You can see the gradient heat starting to build up on the left side of the screen now. And now I'm working down towards the middle using that big outer fire. It's nice to have the extra firepower of the outer flame with these GTTs. Makes the glass move much quicker. Just go back and forth. Build up that gradient heat in the glass. I'm going to go ahead and stretch it in a minute. When you get the glass so hot, it is very malleable. So just keep that in mind. Keep your rotations nice and steady and even. Now taking it out of the flame, waiting a second or two. And then we're beginning to pull that long taper. First I put the mouthpiece, the bowl piece where I wanted it to go. And now I'm pulling away with both hands, and the glass is starting to slowly stiffen up, and you can perfect your bend while it's doing those last moments of going from liquid to solid. And just make sure everything looks straight, especially when you're pulling the glass out. It's easy to pull it off center, so just keep that in mind as your glass hardens up, that everything is straight and looks good. Right now, I'm going to flame cut off the punty, and now it's so hard to handle the glass in this funky shape that we have it in right now. So it gets very close to my body and blow hose. So you really have to just kind of figure out how to maneuver the shape in your hands and keep your hands away from the flame as well. Which was it's a fun challenge. So it really gets your brain working. It's like a puzzle. Right now I'm taking off some extra glass off the end of the bowl. I had some clear left on there. Now we're just peeling that off. Trying to keep the part that needs to melt in the flame and grabbing it off with the tweezers. Always cut your glass in the flame. This way you do not pull thin stringers. Glass will only cut in the flame, so just a kind reminder to make sure you do that the right way. And let's do today's dad joke. Right now, well, first let me just explain what I'm doing. I'm building up a little bit of extra glass and thinning out the glass to get ready to blow the hole for the bowl. Thinning out the glass towards the tip and we want a little bit thicker on the sides. First, just keep puffing till you make sure that glass is nice and even. And the way I like to pop my bowl holes is by first blowing a blister and then putting the very tip of that blister in the flame, as I'm doing right now. And continue to puff it out. And I like to pop very small holes. This way you don't need to use any screens or anything else. And just take your time. Let the glass flow where it needs to flow. Continue to blow it out. I was testing to see if it was cool enough to hold by the stem to make life a little easier, but that was not a good idea. Heat up, puff out. And puff, 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 puff. Boom, yeah, there it popped right there. Nice. You can see that nice little hole we have. And now we're just going to heat up the area around that hole and use our bowl push to push it. See, right now I'm using my IR thermometer, which I should have used before. And you can see in the camera the glass is still over 200 degrees. So no touchies yet. Why I work on doing the bowl push, let's do today's dad joke. And this is in honor of my son Akiva, who loves this joke. And it is, why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they be bagels. Okay, so heating up that glass around the bowl hole and giving it a push with the bowl push. Careful that you don't put heat on the stem at this point, because you can deform your nicely smooth curves of your Gandalf. Going in, rotating, checking to see if everything looks good. And you don't have to push your bowls all in one shot. You could do exactly what I'm doing here, which is heat up and push, and heat up again and push a little bit more, depending on how you like to do it. Glass is still hot. Getting ready to pop the carb hole. Just spot heat where you want it to be. And first I'm going to go to a smaller, more precise flame. And again, we're spot heating where we want to pop the carb. Got the bowl hole plugged with the graphite reamer. That is also giving me a little bit of support in this funny position. Puff the blister. See the glass thinning out. Put it back, put the tip back in the flame. Puff, puff, puff. Always blow in the flame so you don't get bubble trash. Very dangerous for your lungs to have bubble trash in your workspace. Boom, there you go. Carb is ready to go. And now the last part is to detach it, which is always an adventure with these. But at this point, the stem has cooled enough so I could hold it by the stem. And we're just going to figure out where we're going to put the mouthpiece and keep the glass in the flame. Doing your best to keep it in one spot, which is, again, quite the challenge. And rotate, 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 rotate. Get that nice and molten hot. There we go. You can see the orange ring starting to form. I like to use my diamond shears to take this off, which is grab it, squeeze it, and crimp the tube. Give it a couple taps. Tap, 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 tap. And this one did not go as planned. I'm going to tell you now as I continue to tap it. No problem though. This is reality and things don't always go as planned. What we're going to do is, again, reheat where we have the line in the tubing. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Get it nice and hot. Going to use those diamond shears for support. And already we have that nice taper, so it's easy to keep the heat exactly where we want it. Grab it, twist it. Try not to set your clothes on fire. And boom, give it a couple taps and it should crack off nice and clean. Mine had a little bit of extra glass left over near the mouthpiece, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that off with a rod. Get the colored glass nice and hot, and rod should just be warm. Touch two together and flame cut. And you could peel off that extra glass. You can also melt it back in. It's really up to you at this point how you want to do it. And using the reamer to make sure everything is nice and round and smooth. Getting the end nice and juicy hot. Peeling off a little bit more glass. There we go. Looking good. Gonna use roll it on the graphite and use the paddle to make sure it's nice and flat. And boom, there is the Gandalf ready to go. Gonna close off the torch, flipping around so you can see from both sides. Yep, it is awesome. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.